Last week on How We Made Your Mother.
I always kind of felt that my performance annoyed you, Josh.
What?
I'm alone. What a pity I won't be soon in New York City. When I see you, please permit me to tell you everything in New York City.
Tell me more. Tell me more.
Because honestly, because of this conversation that we're having, because I was rarely at work too as laser focused as I was of like the comedy turns and doing that stuff. I was very indifferent to the heart and the pathos of it because I wasn't written that way. And I know that was your job, right?
Yeah.
And so I remember often days when we were filming and I sensed sort of frustration from you because like you wanted the scene to be like a good scene. And I was looking at you like, motherfucker, I'm doing spit takes. Well, we're on like this weird sitcom between two things. So, and it wasn't.
But that's
like
why it was great. We needed that.
This is my point. Like, I'm not like airing dirty laundry or anything. I'm just saying. I think it required the two, like multiple perspectives of all of us to create it. But as it was happening, I was sort of like, I think that Josh is just kind of annoyed by the gnats flying around all the time, just like doing bits.
I think it might have been a little bit like of confusion between actor and character. Like Barney was often incredibly almost dismissive of Ted. Like, and you were so good at playing that I think sometimes like I felt dismissed by Neil, but I was being dismissed by Barney. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, like, you know, when you're, like your body can't tell the difference, even though your mind knows the difference. And I think there was, but when I look back on it, I'm so delighted by our weird chemistry.
It is chemistry.
That I think that there was something in that kind of tension that you're describing that would come out sideways a little bit sometimes. That was actually the secret sauce in making that make sense.
I 100% agree.
I 100% agree too.
I never doubt that Barney is obsessed with Ted, and I never doubt that he wants the best for him.
Yeah.
And also oftentimes, they're on totally different pages. Like in terms of like where their heads are, what they're looking to do, so there was always some resistance that I had to play in a lot of scenes with you. And it's true, we were like inhabiting different worlds, but they were all under this larger umbrella world.
It's totally true.
But I think you're right, but I don't think it was, I think it was something that worked beautifully for the show.
I agree.
I concur. It's nice to have these conversations now, because while it was happening, there was just it felt to me some like a disconnect, and when you explain it that way, it makes perfect sense. It's not like an unresolved issue that I have or anything. I just remember like being at craft service or something, and it was and you were personally just more like buddy with Jason, and that we'd like say hey to each other or whatever, but like we were sort of doing different shows
in some ways.
We were filming it, and I would think like, is it just mad at me? I remember thinking, is Josh mad at me a lot? Like, am I doing something to annoy him?
I would like to relieve you of some of this by saying, one is what I just described, but two, I think that when the show came on, I remember like early, like, remember we did that photo shoot for People magazine where we were all kind of like arranged in different, like you and Allie and Jason had that you'd been to upfronts, you'd had shows on the air, people would recognize you from different things. Me and Kobe, I think like was a little to the manner born. Like she was just like, kind of was like pretty, she's just comfortable. There was something about, you know, I had been on Broadway. This was like my fourth pilot. I was not a famous person, you know? And I think that I had a harder adjustment with like losing my anonymity, being the center of this show. I think it was hard for me. And I felt that you and Allie and Jason especially were like so much more comfortable with the camera, so much more comfortable with like being recognized in the weird ways your life changes when you get on a show like this. And I think I just sometimes I kept running to the jungle and doing ayahuasca. Like I didn't know, I didn't know how to process this in a way that felt healthy, other than kind of like trying to, I don't know, keep it at arm's length. And I guess if I was like a little pissy or something, I'm sorry. Like I think that I was just trying to manage a lot of different things and emotions, and they came out sideways sometimes.
I totally hear you, and I totally appreciate that. And that makes perfect sense. And I don't think there was a singular thing, because we were being asked for almost a decade every day to be like, remembering lines, like doing physical comedy, doing heartfelt monologues, what scene is next, what's happening in my personal life. Like there's so much that was going on. You
guys were all having
time.
Kids, like, which I now understand is the biggest change your life can ever undergo. But also, Neil, I don't know if we've even talked about, I think we talked about this, but like Neil and I did this John Robin Bates play like months before we got cast as Ted and Barney. Yeah. We played lovers in this play called The Paris Letter, a great play. And we had a great experience doing it. And I think there was also like this strange change between like we were doing this very intense, intimate theater piece, and then suddenly we were Ted and Barney, like literally like 4 months later. Yeah. And it was like, it gave me vertigo,
I forget. I always forget that. That's such a crazy detail. That's completely different energies.
We were both butt-ass naked dicks a-swinging in that play. For real.
How did I miss this play?
I remember being off
Did you get my
stage.
text about heated rivalry? I said there'd be no heated rivalry without Paris Letter.
I just finished Heated Rivalry.
It's good.
God. Can I add something? Your guys' specific chemistry, and maybe what you just described was part of that. Whenever Ted and Barney went on an adventure together, Sweet Taste of Liberty being a great example, or even just had a fucking scene together, there was some kind of energy that crackled between you guys and chemistry, and maybe a little bit of that slight disconnect. We're not you guys had different assignments. You had different missions. It was totally like the same sort of overall mission, but within that you had very, very different roles, like an Ocean's 11 kind of thing. Like the safecracker is not exactly doing what the guys that climbing up the building is doing. And whatever that was, if there was a little bit of that, I think it added to the chemistry. Whatever that mysterious thing is, why is How I Met Your Mother still a show people talk about and care about? Why are people still debating the finale? Why are people still saying this? There was just some mysterious energy to that thing. And it's bigger than any of us, but it is the combination of all of us. And I think your guys' specific combination as a duo was fantastic. Even just in these first 2 seasons, watching you two in scenes and in storylines together, I love it. You are on weird little road trip movies like Hope and Crosby. Yeah. It's really interesting. And those movies only work if those two people are very different and the energies are very different. That's a road trip movie. And you guys had that.
Also, Neil, I think that like when you're, that thing we were just talking about, like the crew is like your only audience. Like they laugh a lot when you do the run through and then it's diminishing returns. Sure. And I think when you're on a comedy, there's a kind of, reflexive tendency to think whoever's getting the most laughs is the most something valuable, or they're the thing that I was doing and being asked to do. And I'm really delighted that I got some really good laughs on the show, but like Craig is saying, my assignment was different. And sometimes I felt like, is this valued the way that Neil's comedy is valued? Is my heart forward thing as valuable? And as the years have gone on, I realized, yes, all of the elements of the show made the show special and what it was. Right. And so it took me a long time to realize that the task that I was given, I was doing it really well. And I've actually gone back and kind of forgiven myself for being so hard on myself in those years, So that's why this rewatch has been really special.
Yeah, I totally understand that. Because you would do an amazingly executed speech about your heart and what it means. And then I would like spit up chicken and everyone would laugh at me. And then we'd say cut and they'd all be like, Neil, that was so funny.
The amazing thing is you hadn't even eaten chicken. You just somehow, you're just that good. You just had chicken come out of you.
No, it's true. It's like there was a longer tail for my kind of what I was offering. And, but yeah, I mean, I know that without you playing Barney, we don't have a 9-year run. you know, like not just because you were so great to the execs, but like you were such a powerful, mighty force on this show. And I think you gave like an all-timer performance, like a totally classic performance. So I'm glad to even say these words to you. Like it feels good because I think like in the last analysis, we just made something really cool together.
Yeah, we did.
I totally concur.
We're lucky.
Yeah.
I love you guys. I love you guys.
I love you.
We're
You guys,
really lucky.
This has been really, 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 really
we gotta go.
important
We gotta
for me to do. And I just want to say that I love doing this show.
How do you do that? How do you do that?
And I wrote you this little ditty to sing to you in New York City.
We'll be right back. And now, back to the show. Neil, we were actually talking about this, I think last night, but what did you take from the set? Like a memento from the set?
Oh, man. I took a few things. I took the piece of art that was of Barney wearing a pith helmet at one point that was like an older...
The nude painting that Lily did?
I didn't take the nude painting. The main thing I took was the main booth. I have the...
I got the other.
booth.
I have the other half of that here in my house. So I have
the hero booth that everyone carved their
forever.
names into, and two of the benches, and two of the chairs.
Yeah.
And it's in our main house in East Hampton at the Fun House in the playroom.
I do know that you had a special relationship with Sue because you're an editor's friend. I remember you would do this thing that I always thought was like so savant-like, where do you remember you would rewind yourself to like show like how you picked up the drink, like which hand did you pick it up with? Like you were always trying to help the editor to have a match.
That's genius. I didn't know you did that.
Yeah, I always quickly would try to take my sips at the same time or set my glass down at the same time. And that was just for protection, right? Because if you forget and you're holding your glass for takes 3, 4, and 5, but then they like takes 1, 2, and 3 better, they can't use the later ones or it doesn't match.
Sue would comment on that all the time, Neil, but I didn't know you were literally in your mind like reversing your steps, like to keep
No. He had like the way LeBron members every play of the game.
Right. It's
true.
fucking crazy.
Like that's how Neil was.
God,
with
you were
like,
meant to do this.
I would go like put back the thing and rip, and then walk backwards and like set my coat in the place and sit back up. Wow,
you know what
true.
else made us laugh, Neil, is you playing that game with the Chinese guys in Atlantic City, like that impossible to understand game. And the reveal of Barney's gambling addiction, like the slow,
oh my God,
is really funny.
Yeah, that's a little like runner in season 2 that you get the sense of Barney's terrible gambling addiction. We even flash back at one point and see the first time he wins like $1 from Arsenal. He's like, God, that feels good, really good. And then like later there's this little moment where he's like, why can't I just do it a little? Which is there's so many parts to Barney. There's so many parts.
The only thing that irked me watching the rewatch was the laugh track.
Right. Yes.
It doesn't drive me crazy, but we live in a different world with watching comedy now.
Right.
And
would we do it that way now? Yeah, I don't know.
Or is there not a more nuanced way to make the laughs? I mean, it was just coming from a keyboard of 11 different laughs or something, right?
I think it was I Love Lucy.
It was. So the funny thing is, some of it was real laughs that we got from. Remember, at the beginning of the series, we would sit an audience down and screen the episodes for them and record their laughs. So some of it was like us reusing laughs that we had really gotten for other episodes. I realize that's not great, but
you could almost redo the whole series,
right?
With like an AI overlay where AI would watch it and then make appropriate-ish laughs. Because there's a different laugh from like, oh no, you didn't just do that laugh, to like, oh, isn't that sweet laugh? Yeah. Oh my gosh, she just showed her boobs.
We had a guy,
right?
We had a human with his laugh box. This guy who would come in, who was the laugh guy and had been doing it forever, and was definitely coming. His industry was shrinking even as we were doing it because the laugh tracker. But he had this like little box of like his proprietary laugh box that only he knew how to operate. And if you asked him anything about it, he'd be like, "Get away from me! I'm the only one who can use this laugh box." He was a really good guy, and he did a great job.
But I know what you're saying, Neil. Like, you almost wish it was more like the theater, like it was an honest
Like an
audience
honest
reaction.
laugh. I know.
An
Yes.
honest laugh. Yeah.
Because
That
some
was
of the
scaled to the actual joke.
Correct. I will say, outside of my stuff on the Showdown, one thing that I really loved was, because you just mentioned I Love Lucy, and there was I laughed out loud watching a close-up of Allison's face when she was eating all of those chocolates. She kept shoving chocolates in her mouth.
Yeah,
and her
yeah.
mouth was
Trying to
filled
gain
with
weight?
chocolates, and she's like, and she's like crying, and the audience is laughing, and it seemed very much like the classic I Love Lucy close-up of her on the conveyor belt.
The conveyor
shoving
belt, yes.
chocolates.
Is that when
doing the grinding.
that laugh.
when Robin says "Skinny Baby's gonna cry"?
Skinny baby's
I
gonna
love
cry.
that.
That was so funny.
Oh, Skinny Baby's gonna cry. I also ask me and tell me this. I started looking at Kobe's ass in the bar scenes.
I remember when you started that.
Barney started looking at that.
Barney started looking at Robin's ass when she would leave scenes.
Yeah.
Well before you had said that Robin
Own
and
it.
Barney would have a thing together.
I
But I
think
don't
you-
want to take ownership of that because I wasn't angling towards that. I just thought that would be an interesting thing to like start folding in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I this is what I mean, that it's a conversation, right? It's a conversation from stage 22 to the writer's room to the edit room, and we're all seeing what you're doing, and we're all seeing what the energies are, all these mysterious energies coming together. I think you absolutely started playing that, and that it absolutely planted the seed in our brains to go, wait a second, if we go long enough, this is going to happen. There's something there. Because you and Kobe, again, had your own completely unique chemistry. That's what's so great. Any two of you guys in a room, like in a scene together, any two of you actors, there was a scene there. There was a history. There was a connection. Everybody had a pairing. And you and Lily, like each of you guys with Allie had a thing. It's great.
Yeah.
It's great. That is the truth. I don't know. That's unreplicatable, right? I only certain shows get that. It's like generational.
You know, Craig, I don't remember what episode this was, but
Yeah.
there was a moment we flagged where it's when Barney's trying to convince him not to move in together, and he comes in with the yellow legal pad but acts like it's a thing. But he said something about Robin wearing makeup, and she says, "I'm not wearing any makeup." And he looks at her, she says, "God, you're beautiful."
That was a couple episodes ago. That was late season 2.
That was a moment where we're like, oh, that's like a moment
Neil,
to flag
we said
of
it.
like he
We
notices
said it
her
on
in
the
a different
podcast.
way.
We're like, oh, I think that was like, that launched 1,000 ships that moment. I think that was the moment. Dear God, you're beautiful.
Dear God, you're beautiful.
You're not wearing makeup.
Well, and also Kobe Smulders,
Come on.
kind of amazingly beautiful.
The best.
Like
and inside
her
and
face.
No
out.
acting required. Yeah. Yeah. Neil, are there any other, like, as this is coming, like, where is How I Met Your Mother? Like, oh, by the way, did your kids like it?
I wanna know that
Famous
too.
parents
I wanna
aside,
ask
like, did
that.
they enjoy watching it?
They haven't seen it all. Harper watched all of the Doogie Howser episodes, which is hilarious.
That's awesome.
Because I was just this little chubby boy with a high-pitched voice that talked like this and walked around in high tops. But How I Met Your Mother, she claims that she's watched it. I think she's watched some of it. But this whole experience right now is making me want to do like my own rewatch with the kids. Because they're both performing. Like Gideon was just in his high school play. He was in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest at our school.
Oh, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Wow.
And
That's great.
He was one of the orderlies. And it was great because he's a freshman and it was for the whole high school. And he was a new freshman. And so he found his tribe a little bit and he was really great in it. He was in Newsies at his previous school. He was
sweet.
crutchy in Newsies and got to sing a song. So he's been performing a bit. Harper's now in like an acting class. So they both have sort of acting aspirations in different directions. So I wonder what it would be like to watch How I Met Your Mother now together.
Well, listen, have them watch it. We'll have you back on and we'll get the
We'll
update.
have them back on
We'll have
with
them
you.
on.
That would be cool. They'd have a lot to say.
Neil, also just a shout out to David in
I was gonna say the same
either
thing.
something blue or something borrowed. When Scooter comes back to try to win Lily at the wedding, and he says, "Look me in the eye and tell me you want to marry Marshall." And he does that thing where he won't show
He
her
just
his
avoids eye
eyes.
contact so he can't be looked in the
It's
eye.
so
And he does this
funny.
thing with
Talk
his
about like
head.
physical comedy.
It makes me laugh. He's like a dog that you're trying to look at because they've done something bad. And they just keep like...
And they will not make eye contact. My
turning
dog
to-
totally does that.
Scooter was 100% a dog, like that character.
Would you tell him we talked about that at length? Tell him we couldn't stop talking about that on the podcast. podcast episode about the wind. He was fucking hilarious in that.
One of my favorite Barney episodes, and can I come back onto the show when you get to it?
Please.
Was the one where you had me play poker with 6 different versions of myself.
Oh,
and
yeah.
we had to lock off the shot. And I had to do like 6 different characters that all had to look like that. I
forgot about that. Okay, you're coming back on for that. You have to
I had an earwig in, and I had to remember that I gave nods to certain characters that were in a 2-shot. That was crazy.
Oh my God. Well, okay, so we're having you back. You have to come on. Definitely that poker one. We got the 100th episode, the Suits musical. We need you for that. That's a little ways off. Neil Patrick Harris. My God.
Neil Patrick Harris.
One of the greats. One of the all-time greats. Thank you for being here, buddy.
Thank you so much for being here.
Love to see you all. You all look great.
And I'm glad we unpacked all that stuff.
Indeed. Indeed. Me too, buddy.
That was so great having Neil on. When I was watching you guys talk about some of like your dynamics, right? During the making of the show and the completely different roles you had and how those had different energies, I thought to myself, this is why we're doing this podcast, because only now can we talk like that and in that way and with that perspective. I was like, right, this is why we have this podcast, and only from this vantage point could you have that conversation.
Yeah,
did it feel that way?
And I also think there's something about there's a difference between being 31 and 51, 32 and 52. You know.
Oh yes.
And if you're not different at 52 than you were at 32, something's gone wrong.
Right.
You know, like,
yes.
Like we should look
Even
back
Barney
on some of our behavior and wince or blush or think, oh, I could have handled that better. And I also think, you know, I'm glad Neil brought up all that stuff, because there was something about, like, when I would think about those times, I'm kind of thinking as a 32-year-old, 33-year-old, 37-year-old. And it's nice to update it and to have a conversation with us in our early 50s, you know, with some perspective and some, like, some of that has settled, you know? Yes. And, you know, I always felt with Neil, like, no matter what was going on, I always felt when the cameras rolled, we were there. Like, we really worked well together. And I never had anything less than, like, immense respect for his comedic chops. Like, he was doing stuff that I was like, I mean, in some ways, you kind of felt like you were playing with Jordan in certain days, you know? Yeah. And, you know, like Scottie Pippen that was hard sometimes if I was even Pippen that day. But I was other times, you know, I got to be the guy. And I think that, you know, anytime you put 5 people together for 9 years, I was thinking about that. How I Met Your Mother is like high school plus college plus 1 year.
Yeah, like a gap year.
And think how much you change from your freshman year of high school.
Oh, yes.
To 23, 24 years old.
Yeah.
And it was just, I mean, yeah, there were a lot of other people around, but it was just 5 of us. So there's bound to be, like, you know, when people say, like, oh, was it the best time? It's like, yeah, but the whole show wasn't a blooper reel. Like, you spend a decade, you're going to bring your best self some days to work, and you're going to bring your worst self. Like, people saw me when I was in some, like, real crabby moods, when I was really confused about
me too.
Life and what was going on. I mean, a lot was going on, and life was really happening. It was in session.
Life did not stop happening as we were still doing.
It was so nice to be able to sift through some of that with him, as you know, older dudes who just mostly are carrying affection for that time. You know. Yeah, I agree. And you guys were both so in your characters, and sometimes your characters had to have this friction. And it's like the camera stopped rolling and you went and got something at craft services. The energy is still there of what you were just inhabiting and had been inhabiting for years prior to that. It's so interesting to me. I'm sure that dynamic on long-running shows, long-running plays too, probably, right? There's probably like certain dynamics that don't let go between scenes, between shows, between seasons even. And you carry the character in your body, and like, even talking to Neil, I'm like, yeah, Barney's out of his body, Ted's out of my body. Like, we're not living in that, you know. We're dudes, like, in the world with kids and lives, and but it was really great to touch back with some of that and feel just some of the underlying affection that's at the heart of the whole thing. You know,
I loved it. It was great.
Yeah, we there are a couple things about the episode that we didn't get to touch on that I just want to like kind of run through that I thought were really funny and sharp. By the way, tell us real quick, like, what is this episode about?
Yeah. So this episode, Alec, I think you said when it aired and everything, all that stuff. But the episode is about, I mean, the Barney Price is Right part is obviously like the super memorable part, but I really like this whole episode because this is about Ted's attempt to write his best man speech for Marshall. And that's a pretty big deal. That's a pretty big thread. And we keep on seeing we see stories that Ted wants to tell for the toast, and Marshall keeps shooting them down because they're too risque for his very, conservative Midwest family. And meanwhile, Lily has lost more weight than she intended to, and her dress doesn't fit. So there's a ridiculous story of Robin trying to fatten Lily back up, alongside Bob Barker shenanigans.
What you're describing are B and C stories.
Yes,
like these are real.
Showdown's the part you remember, but I really liked the Ted Toast storyline more than I remembered, and I sort of felt more important because it also gives us the first flash forward glimpse to Marshall and Lily's wedding. Marshall's wearing a hat. Why is he wearing a hat? We'll get there. Isn't this also... I'm getting confused. Ted and Robin come in covered in pasta sauce in this one, too.
It led us to call this a kind of three-part finale.
Yes, this really echoed... the two-part finale echoes backwards into this, or some way of saying that. So I love this episode start to finish, and there's a lot more going on than just the Bob Barker stuff. That's at the end. Yeah. And it's definitely what you're building towards, but there's a lot of other good stuff.
And this old man, he must admit he fell in love with you in New York City.
And now, commercials. End of commercials. Back to show.
I loved the shot of Lily and Marshall getting eggs from the fridge together. When he's like, "I'll join you."
3
feet.
steps over.
Yeah.
Yes, their codependence is explored, and it's insane how codependent they are. But then in the end, that's the whole point of Ted's toast. He's like, yeah, they're codependent. Yeah. They need each other. They couldn't even go like a couple nights without seeing each other. And if that's not love, then what is? These two deserve to be together. They need to be together. I thought that was a very sweet toast Ted did, and we got to see a wedding toast before we ever see a wedding. Yeah. I love how out of order that is. A very hymn telling the story out of order in an interesting way. I liked that piece a lot.
And then the table with the five of them, and then two random people who are very close to them.
Right.
Just like, who are those other people?
Yes, I know.
The Price is Right, the decision to do The Price is Right, was that a CBS vertical integration move?
No, we were not fed that by the corporate overlords or anything like that. Every comedy writer was homesick watching Price is Right, or faked being homesick to watch Price is Right. There was a lot of legitimate affection for Price is Right in that room. I think Bob Barker, the sense was he was maybe coming to the end of his tenure on that. It was like, could we do something with him? CBS loved it. They loved the sort of crossover thing. But I think we just came up with that on our own. Like, what would be the most absurd explanation for who Barney's dad is, and just so clearly tossed away by the mother whose face, Charlie Brown's parents, you never see the face. It's just a voice saying, I don't know, that guy. And young Barney just taking that and running with it. And I love talking about that with Neil, like, to what extent does Barney really believe that in then and in the middle and at the end? It's kind of one for the ages, that question. But no, this was our idea. This was not fed to us.
Yeah. I love when Ted says, I think he just says, "My name is Ted Mosby." Strong opening, right? Like, it was that.
Yeah, it's good, right? Each time. Yeah. This is like 4 times.
I love his favorite grandson's getting married, Ted. I think he could take a day off from haunting the barn to go to his favorite grandson's wedding.
I love that joke. That's one of my favorite jokes in the whole episode. And I forgot about it because it's so Marshall. That is such a character joke of Marshall. And Marshall also acting like, what are you, an idiot? Of course the ghost's going to come to the wedding. Like, Marshall having that tone of being unassailably right when talking about ghosts is chef's kiss.
One of my favorite things is Marshall and Bigfoot, ghosts, Nessie, the Loch Ness Monster. Is he an alien? He's an aliens guy too, right?
Oh, big time. Yeah, aliens. Yeah, and Nessie, come on, Nessie's a girl 10. Come on.
Yeah.
That's later. I think that's in the finale.
Yeah. I love when Ted locks the door on Barney after his Price is Right practice runs.
Oh my God, I watched that twice. I rewound that and watched it again because the thud against the door, which I'm sure Neil really did.
Yes.
As full throttle, like that could have been a sound effect. No, Neil for sure rammed his head first into that door, even though that's not on camera. I guarantee you he did. Or at least his shoulder. That made me laugh so fucking hard. Just the casualness with which Ted gets up and just locks the door and Marshall's giggling. That was great.
It was great.
The three dudes together. That's what I mean. Like any combination of these characters, like those three dudes together being dudes, we could have done that more. I almost wish we did that more because those little moments are great.
Yeah. What was sit down? I've got something to tell. I got to tell you guys something, but wasn't everyone seated already?
Everyone's already seated.
Everyone's already seated.
Yeah. Everyone's already seated.
Those little things are just so stupid and funny.
So funny.
Like that's
the Barney being in a show. Barney's imagining what should be happening. In Barney's mind, everybody's.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was when he was going to announce Bob Barker's my dad. That was what you should be sitting for.
Yeah. I love the soap opera close up after the Bob Barker reveal.
Oh yeah. Hilarious.
So funny.
It's heartbreaking. Neil really played it. It's Barney's neediness in this episode, and his brokenness is what makes this episode.
We already said the saddest moment in How I Met Your Mother and possibly all of television history is want to play some catch pop and throwing the baseball at the TV.
The sound the baseball makes clinking against the TV is what gets me. It is just plop onto the shag carpeting.
I thought this was an old ref. Super Size Me guy was full of it.
That is an old ref. I'm not sure that one's holding up very well for a bunch of different reasons. Yeah, old ref.
Yeah, old ref.
Alert. We got to take the hit.
Kobe's skinny little baby's gonna cry was one of my biggest laughs of the episode.
Skinny little baby's gonna cry?
Yeah. I also love, this is something not everyone would understand, but when Ted says, I give up, I'm just going to read that thing about Jesus and the footprints.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
That's really funny throwaway.
Yeah.
We dissect a lot of good wedding cliches in these episodes coming up. That was the beginning of the
Ecclesiastes wedding, coming up.
Yeah.
I love the foreshadowing of Marshall's hat.
Why that hat? Stay tuned.
We talked about this. Barney trying to stand like Bob Barker. Would you say you're proud of me?
Did you notice that too, Josh?
Yes, I wrote it down. Barney trying to stand like Bob Barker.
That really got me.
Would you say you're proud of me? And also the Night Night Lily song with Ted being forced to sing it.
Oh my God. And Ted joining in grudgingly. But I also you had a great delivery of a line when, would you say you're proud of me? And Bob Barker's like, sure, Barney, I'm proud of you. And there's this weird, Barney almost starts to cry and you cut Ted and Ted just goes, that was kind of a weird moment. I remember that line. I think I might have written that line.
Yeah.
Because I remember feeling like that. You need that. You need to be seeing it through the gang's lens. Because what we're doing is fucking insane.
Yeah.
He's on The Price is Right.
It's almost like when everyone gathers around to watch the Robin Sparkles video.
Yeah,
like exactly. It's like a total wait, what?
The audience has to experience it through the gang's eyes, and because it is a weird moment. You have to acknowledge that's a really weird moment, and it's airing on Price is Right, unedited on Price is Right. It's
and he's got all these gifts that he's giving Marshall and Lily.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, the Night Night Lily song where Ted is being forced to both videotape it and harmonize.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember if I was on set or that was just something we looped
You were.
in.
No, you were.
Was.
You had to time it out. You had to do it. You were there standing right next to the cameraman.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Because you had to sound that way. You were in there.
That was really funny to me. Yeah.
So funny. And then the Ted grudgingly does it. He's like, all right, I'll do it. Way later in series, Marshall's lullaby to his son is Night Night Little Marvin. It is a completely different melody and song that we wrote many, many years later, but I forgot we made it match. He has a Night Night song for Lily, and now they have a kid, and he says Night Night Little Marvin to his little son. So I guess maybe we did that intentionally. Couldn't even remember.
Oh, I wrote a song called Brooklyn Girl for Jordana, and she says, is there going to be a Brooklyn boy?
Yes, write it. Do it.
Yeah. I'll get on it right now.
On the spot. Get the guitar.
I am guilty. Please acquit me. All sins are forgiven in New York City.
How We Made Your Mother is hosted and executive produced by Josh Radner and Craig Thomas, and is presented and distributed by the Office Ladies Network and Odyssey. This episode is also executive produced by Jenna Fisher and Angela Kinsey. The show is produced and edited by me, Alec Lev, and our co-producer is Doug Matica. Our audio producer and mixer is Alex Reeves at Point of Blue Studios. Our digital content producer, aka Gen Z Master, is Emily Blumberg. Artwork by John Morrow. Please follow, rate, and review the show on Apple Podcasts or your podcast player of choice. It really does help the show. Our theme song is New York City by our own Josh Radnor, with additional music by Craig Thomas and Andrew Majewski. Special thanks to Lola Kennedy and Elliot Connors. Visit howwemadeyourmother.com to learn more and click on the contact page to send us an email or a voice message. Your stories and questions are an important part of the show. Subscribe to Josh Radnor's newsletters on Substack and check out his music and everything else at joshradnor.com. Order Craig Thomas's debut novel, That's Not How It Happened, wherever books are sold, and check out his other published writings at craigthomaswriter.com. And you can subscribe to my own Dead Fathers Society, also on Substack. To learn more about how you make a difference, this show's ongoing campaign to raise money for congenital pediatric heart disease research, check out the Make a Difference tab at the top of our website. People will, in fact, dance.
The real question, it just hit me. Am I in love with you or just New York City?